Hey there, folks. This recap is for Thursday, October 9th, 2025. And it was a whack Thursday. We were playing whack a mole with stocks today. Hope you enjoyed the video. Remember, when you play whack a mole on the stock market, you're going to lose. The professional help, and make sure you practice on the simulator because it is extremely risky. You will lose money, just like we did. We started out $13 above, and on the last trade, we lost 70 and we wind up minus 91 for the day. We took 11 trades, just two stocks, BJDX and TTRX. TTRX a little higher price, but uh, we gambled and dabbled. For the month, we're down $90 because of today. And our biggest issue was we took one more losing trade, and the average was $18 losing. So here's BJDX. And as I said, it's going to be a long video. It's over an hour. I thought about removing parts of the videos, but in all fairness, if you're a trader and you're putting your stuff out there for people to watch, it needs to be transparent. So we can't cut out too much. And this was 2 hours of pre-market trading. I should note that. And remember, if you like the videos, hit the like button. It's completely free. It doesn't cost you anything. Subscribe if you can. I don't send out notifications or angry folks to knock on your door. Leave your comments. Do you have comments, good or bad? So we jump in because we thought there was a good pattern on on the 1 minute there. We see the 5 day, the $5 high, and there's a long tail wick there, which doesn't inspire confidence. But you know what the heck, we're gonna jump in, and we're also gonna jump in with 100 shares because we believe this is gonna go up. And this was an okay trade. Yeah, we are down 17, $16, but the volume is there. The MACD is picking up. It looks like it's going upward, even though it's still early. You can see there on the clock, bottom left hand corner, it's 4:03 in the morning, and that's Pacific time. So it's 7:03 on the East Coast. And right above that clock is the 133 tick mark, which is the equivalent of a 10 second chart. And you see that it's hovering above. So that gives us confidence. The 5 minute has good volume bars, green volume bars there, and it continues to move. There's no pullbacks. And likewise, all the MACDs are showing the move up. So we were down quite a bit, 16, 17, and now we've recovered. And we set a stop limit there, and we get out, which is nice. So that was a good trade. That's the way to plan a trade, guys. That was a very good trade. So we started out well, up $13, and we thought there might be an opportunity for more here. So we jumped in, and we thought BJDX was doing pretty well. They had the right patterns for a stock that is moving upward, that is bullish, and you can see that even though there's a dip there, it is moving up and at a nice angle. So I think this stock would have been at its lowest um, to purchase, 200 shares at 250, and then or under three, or even at $3, and then just hold them because it was going to go up no matter what. But as how should I put this? Intraday traders, I guess, is the word. So here we are at 423. We moved up ahead, and it starts to move back up again, and so we jump in with just 10 shares. So as intraday traders, we're looking for the quick buck, right? So we're looking to buy the dips and sell at the top of the candles and then get out. And that's the quick hits that we should be looking for, especially with a small account. If you're into long-term investing or either, swing trades, then you might want to hold. Or I have not yet felt the confidence to go to start trading at 4 in the morning Pacific, buy a stock, and then hold it till the end of the day. I just don't see how that is possible. The anxiety, the angst over when the stock goes up and down, especially since you're going to be watching it, becomes too much. So the quick hits are the best way to go. And sometimes the quick hits are like that $13 trade at the beginning. That's a quick hit, smart. When jumped in, we made $13. Now we need 4 or 5 more trades like that for a $50, $60 day. And what's likely to happen when you jump in with a lot more shares looking for that a little larger payoff, it's not going to work, especially in the conditions of the market today. Now, it is the weekend. It is Sunday the 12th when I'm doing this recap. We had very busy days on Thursday and Friday. And so I'm catching up. And obviously, by now, we all know what happened on Friday, right? So tariff threats and the market just collapses. Black Friday. So what do we got to look forward to on Monday? Black Monday. So be careful on Monday morning. Though from what I've seen right now, I see some stocks picking up and recovering a little bit. So folks are buying dips. But that doesn't mean that on Monday morning, folks are just going to realize what happened on Friday and then begin to sell and start moving off into metals like silver and gold. So you got to be careful. The overall status of the market affects small caps. We could have, a company on Monday morning announce that it figured out a cure for cancer, and if the market dumps, the news ain't gonna matter. Doesn't matter how good the news are. So just be careful. And hearing reports of economic downturns, even in the housing market, especially in the rental space, and those are concerning. So we've hit a new high, 554. We jumped in, but of course, it doesn't work out. So remember, we were up $13.30, and we've slowly whittled that down because we wanted to jump in, and we didn't pick the right moments. So this was kind of a long hold, 4 or 5 minutes, for just 10 shares, and we're down $5. And what happens, of course, in our lack of patience, we we're gonna sell. We're gonna get out. And of course, a few minutes later or a few bars later, the stock starts moving up. And the reason you saw it jump there was because I was checking other stocks. I didn't jump into any of the other ones, but ATHE was making noise. TELO was another one. OMEX was another one that we looked at, but they didn't offer confidence. Yeah, look at the MACD. You see that? It looked like it was gonna cross over the signal line. That slightly yellow line there you see on the MACD, that's the signal line. So if the MACD falls below it, price is going down. And the MACD goes above it, price will probably rise higher. Not a short thing, but it's one of the best indicators we have. So here we're holding just for 10 shares, and the only reason we're holding is because you see that web of EMA lines there, sort of not turning itself down, and there's a possibility it might go up. We look at the 5 minute, there's a 2 bar pullback, then a 1 bar pullback, and here, well, we're holding because there might be a climb back up again, and it's only 10 shares. The loss is not, overwhelming, not huge. And we look at the MACD and we stop seeing the red bars and we begin to see the light pinkish lines, which means volume is starting to pick up and price may be picking up a little bit. And so we jump in and we add to our position, and there's a nice move up there, but we've already bought too high, so we can't be positive. And our blue line there, our cyan line is there, and the cyan lines I use as a resistance that needs to be overcome by the stock, and if it does, there's a chance that it'll go higher. In this case, it just bounced right back down. Somebody didn't want it to go over 5, and it just drops down. And so we're gonna hold it on for a little bit longer. But this move right here, the battle that's going on in this bar, sort of tells you that this is gonna point down. The 133 tick chart in bottom left hand corner, equivalent to the 10-second. You see that starts big red, 2 big red bars there, one next to each other, and it's no longer climbing. And the reason we continue to hold is precisely because it's only 20 shares. But of course, we were only holding 10, now we're holding 20, so our loss is sort of doubled in essence. Here I'm trying to compare the prior 10 minutes to these 10 minutes off of those green bars. And my thought is, well, we might see a repeat. As soon as we sell, it's time for it to go back up again. And that's what I'm thinking. Now 438, hit the VWAP, and say, oh, well, you know, there's always VWAP bounces, but in this case it doesn't. So we start to try to get out. And that's one of the issues in pre-market. They're not going to get filled right away. So now it's 5:12 in the morning. So, you know, another 20, 30 minutes later, starts picking up. And here, we only go in with one share because we want to be in the game. And my thought here is exactly as I'm drawing the trend lines, is one of my favorite patterns we made money on. The stock will go up past the VWAP. It'll climb back down. And then on the second attempt, it'll climb higher. It can also fall lower. So be careful. But this is one of my favorite patterns. So we only jump in with one share to move the market, as it were. And maybe we should have jumped in with a lot more. And BJDX is showing us the patterns that other stocks have shown over the past 2 weeks. 1, 2, 3 bars, and then what's likely to happen? Collapse, right? So reclaim and collapse. And so here my thought is I'm mentally trading with 1,000 shares, which I don't have money to buy with. But my thought is train my mind and my through my eyes, through the visuals, that this is what I'm supposed to do the next time I see a similar pattern. 1, 2, 3 bars and sell, and sure enough, there's that long tail wick there. And even though this is no shares or one share, I could have cut this out, but you know, of the day, this was one of the most important study sessions because that's what today was. It was a study. Well, except for the last trade, they were study sessions to identify behavior and for us to adjust and learn and build a strategy going forward. There you can see it falls down. And what happened at 5 a.m. and the clock, I should add the words the letters PST to it or PDT to it. We're on the West Coast, and at 5 a.m., old stocks started moving upwards, and then they started falling back down. And so here we jump in with one share. It's reclaimed more than half of the red bar on the left. And like I say, for us it's practice. And if our strategy or our thoughts are correct, it's going to go back up. There it goes. So then we jumped in as soon as it crosses with 100 shares. Did we? Oh, we didn't get filled. But that would have been the play. Jump in with 100 shares and then sell right off the top there. Now we get filled. But now we've lost strength. And this was an exciting trade for me because um, it proved to me that my thought is correct, that the stock will try to cross the VWAP, fall back down, and then get back up again. Unfortunately, we didn't get filled before the VWAP, and the thought would have been to sell. Would have been 5-6 cents right there, but instead we get caught in the downturn. So, um, and I think part of the issue here was pre-market, and I was having issues getting filled, specifically on this stock. I said, well, why are you trading pre-market? Well, I got up at 4 a.m. because I couldn't sleep, and I thought that there might be opportunities. Uh, and that's what I was looking for. But it was, I think, skittish. So, but this time we had to sell, and the 100 shares we had, we're still in one share. Oh, by the way, I just realized the 100 shares that we purchased here was on accident. I think I was falling asleep with my mouse button over the buy ask, and I accidentally hit the buy 100 shares. My intent was to sell the one share, and I hit the 100 shares, and this turned into a $20 loss. So live and learn. Needless to say, after the rest of the session, I stopped hovering the mouse button. It's now 6 a.m. So now we're further up, and once again, we're moving up into VWAP, and we take a starter share. We're only down $20. If we can recover half, the day will be great. And, we still think that this stock has the ability to hit back up to 5. So there's the first move. And at this point, this would be the sell because we don't think it's going to go back up, but we think we're going to hold through it because it looks like it's climbing. And again, we're working on under that theory. Has VWAP, slight pullback. Unfortunately, here it doesn't look that strong because if we look for the strength, then ideally what we're looking for is an entry opportunity here. Jump in with 100, 200 shares to move up. However, the MACDs are not pointing to a higher reclaim. But you can see there that stubborn gorilla feels differently, so he's going to prepare to jump in with 100 shares. And a trend reversal says, no, 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 no. And we have a little bit of a profit there. And maybe the smart thing is to take it. And sometimes the trend reversal is wrong, right? I mean, the stock reclaims and it goes higher. And certainly right here, this gives us a little bit of confidence that it's going to move up as you see all those, that EMA clouds just jump up a little bit closer to the VWAP. But we're still not sure. You notice the reversal went away because the stock went a little higher, but now the trend reversal indicator comes back up again. we're going to continue to watch it. It's only 10 shares and 6:12, 20 minutes away from the open. And we're thinking that it's the right pattern. Remember, goes up past BWAP, comes back down, and back up again. But it has slowed down. Volume has definitely slowed down. Then there were a couple of other stocks that popped up and had a little bit of momentum, but only for a small period of time. Um, TTRX was the other one that we traded, and of course that one was a higher price stock and had a little bit more. So at this point, we're down about a little over $20, and like I said, Thursday, it's after the weeks we've been having, uh, we needed to test, and here we think that there might be hope for the stock to move up higher. I think it eventually does at the open, but later in the day. So we didn't get filled there, huh? And actually, it's a good thing we didn't get filled, but it does wind up moving, at least a tiny bit. So here's where we think, oh, we got this, right? Second candle is gonna pop and give us our $20 back. And this is why patterns don't work. This is why you can't memorize a pattern, a candle pattern, or a weekly pattern, or a daily pattern, or any type of pattern. Because this is the trade we got trounced on for the day. Now, we didn't trade BJDX only, consecutively. In between, we traded TTRX. I just separated them both so that if you have a preference for which one you're going to watch, uh, the first part of the video, BJDX, I think has the most to learn from. Now we're feeling very optimistic that we put a sell limit up there, all the way up at 450. And probably if we've held this through 9:30 a.m. Pacific, it probably would have hit the 450, but it wasn't going to do it pre-market. And so this was the trade that broke us for the day. We used up all our settled cash here, and there was no point in continuing. I think, well, we had there was a little bit of money, but not enough to make a difference, and probably lose more. So we opted to get out. So this was about 6:16. Where 13 minutes away from the open. Heck, I don't even know what happened during the open. I didn't even check. Things are still looking hopeful here. I mean, yeah, you're down $50, but they're looking hopeful. But the issue in the pre-market is there's no stop loss. It would have been nice here to put a nice stop loss there. And that's the issue. So you're exposed and no parachute. One could argue that if you go back to those last three green bars there on the left, that this is a mixed pattern, not bullish, not bearish. So you take your chances. So I think into tomorrow and into next week, and here's where the knife falls. Jackknife, and we can't get out soon enough. These are the things you can't predict, the things you have to manage risk for. And I think what I've learned over the past 2 weeks is that the pre-market, at least in the way the market is behaving, is no place to be if you want to make a little bit of money with a small account. So I think we're going to stop trading in pre-market and work on the open. I seem to have better luck. We don't want to duplicate what we did earlier in the year. So that last trade, BJDX, ended before the market opened. So now we're looking at the trades on TTRX. And this was at 4:48 in the morning. And it looked like TTRX wanted to pick itself back up again. And notice we just went in with one share. We're going to play and say, hey, we played. Looks like there's a bull flag there forming, but the MACDs are starting to curl down. And volume is also moving very slowly. It's almost like it's not even moving. Our trend reversal says, hey, abandon ship. We decide to hold, as it might be that, as it typically does with that trend reversal, Trend reversal shows up, and then stock goes up a little bit. And remember, it's we're 10 minutes from 5 a.m. And at this point, we had, uh, I think we were $13 up. Oh no, there we go. In the trades, so we're down about less than $6. So that's the reason we were holding. And again, the pattern of the EMA clouds looks like it wants to go up. Looks like it's undecided. It's slightly turned down, but the MACDs are all pointing downwards. A nice little push there, not too much, but enough to keep us interested and keep us in the game. So, as I mentioned earlier, this is a recap, and I'm doing it on a Sunday. And so while we watch this uh, stock price paint, watch slow paint. Um, we saw crypto fall, and futures fell flat a little bit, but they recovered. So let's take a look here. I have no chart, I'll just voice it out. Yeah, Bitcoin went down as far as 111 or maybe 110 lower, and went as high as 115, and it's now trading at, yeah, 114. So that's hanging in there. The SPY hasn't been as lucky. That's a dollar down from closing. Closed at 653, and it's at 652, about 90 cents. Continue to look. Nvidia also fell down, fell to 178 perhaps, and it's since recovered to 183. But it'll be a hard climb to 195 now, given the conditions. We're looking at OKLO. That one bounced back nicely. Fell 140, but it is now at 148, $8. So it bounced back up again. So we'll have to see. We have to make sure on Monday that folks don't start selling these. You know, they bounce back up right now, but then they fall. We're also looking at an ETF, VOO, the Vanguard S&P 500, of course, follows the S&P 500, and that one fell not too bad to 594, but it was up around 617. and it's now trading around $599, $600. It's a good ETF. It has good history. Uh, John in the comments mentioned TEM, and it sounded like he had a nice trade last week with it going up to 99. I think it went over 100. That one did fall to 89 and it's now back up to 93. So back up to the norm. Let's see. XRP, I didn't get a chance. I know XRP fell to 240 and I didn't have a chance to buy the dip. 237 it looks like it hit. That would have been a nice dip buy, but didn't have time. So now it's back up to 252, which still wouldn't be a buy, bad dip buy, but we'll wait till Monday and see what happens, Monday or Tuesday, before we start jumping into anything long term. And then if we take a look at where are the here we go, futures. Futures seem to have recovered and they're largely green. Wow. The minis up. Yes, minis are up 56%. No, less than a percent at 56.25. Mini Dow Jones is up 298, and the Nasdaq 100 is up 274, a little bit over 1%. That's quite interesting. Gold is at 4,067 holding, so is the micro. And silver holding just under 50 at 48. Of course, it's up. And winter's coming up, right? So crude oil, because of what's happening in the Middle East, is down to 59. And the things we got to watch for that are going to go up is heating oil at $2.22, natural gas at $3.11. So mark those two because they'll be higher come wintertime. So TTRX hasn't yielded much other than a long waiting game. And at this point, it's we're right a minute before 5 o'clock, and we're only down less than $6. So that's why I was holding it. This was a experiment for me. One share, long-term hold, large stock that maybe might go up. We've seen these stocks ramp quite high. So if you buy one, you have a small account. You buy a large stock like this, obviously not at $20. You want to buy more at 10 or 11, and if it kicks up to 35, you get a nice $20 win. So that was the play here. But I think it was exhausted. It's obvious that it was exhausted. All right, let's take a look at. I don't know what indices haven't opened the world stock markets yet, so I just see a lot of red, but it's probably because they're all closed yet. So I would say Monday morning, watch for people dumping and selling before you jump in, and if things go lower, there'll be nice dip buys before Tuesday morning, depending on what the news are. We'll have to wait and see. Checking the U.S. economic calendar. Yeah, it looks like Tuesday the Fed's going to speak again. Paul, Waller, and Collins are speaking. So, and Bowman. Wow. So that should be interesting to hear. Oh, Monday too. So they're speaking, but I don't know whether they're going to talk about the state of the economy or not. So here now it's 5:03. and our one share has picked up. So that was the long experiment hold there that you can see from that large green bar, red, come back down, and now it's the climb up to BWAP, and we know what's going to happen, right? It's going to get rejected a little bit past BWAP, come down, and then maybe pick up. So again, we saw this with BJDX. Now we're seeing it with TTRX. So what I'm seeing is a pattern here. Now I said don't use repeatable patterns, but if they do exist and the opportunity comes up, the entry there on TTRX would have been 2022, and the exit would have been right at BWAP, right there. Boom. That would have been almost $2. So you know, 10, 20 shares would have given you a $40 win. And today for me wasn't about making money. It was more about trying to uh, steadily learn from my own mistakes and try to survive in there and see where things are going and how they're working. Until the last trade. The last trade was a desperation. The last one on BJDX, where we lost 70, that was a desperation. Oh, whack 200 shares at BJDX and see if it sticks. Excuse me. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much. Am I looking at the right? Yeah, Monday, October 13th, Wednesday, the 16th. So we'll have to wait and see. Reports are due Thursday on jobless claims, core PPI, and retail sales month over month. But we know that and the PPI, so we know that the government's not putting out reports due to the shutdown. So that's gonna make for an interesting week. Mm. Yeah, I think what I saw as a positive uptrend on the market might not come until the end of February. February. Sorry, end of October. And we'll have to wait and see, right? October 29th is the day the stock market died back when, what, 1929. So hopefully we're not headed there. So there we can see stock crossed over BWAP, had a 2-bar pullback, and now it's starting to head up. And we're watching it. But it doesn't have the strength. And we get a little bit aggressive of trying to sell one share at $24 because we think it'll pick up. So let's see how smart we played this trade here. In the meantime, while we're waiting for this to move, looking at the news, it looks like there's a northeast storm coming, and that's not good. We're getting into winter, and the bad weather. All we need is bad weather to bring disaster and materials and people, and drive us our economy way down. So we got two lines drawn there within the channel, and we're thinking that it's going to break that channel and head up. and my hit somewhere before 25, a little bit of north of 25, but we've put our one limit sell right above 24. We want to get out right before it does hit up there. Here we go. Boom. See that? That's a perfect trade. It's only one share, but we played it, we held it, and we continue. It's 5:32 now, and we take another share, and that's I'm pointing out to where we were before, and now we're further down. We're at 30 bucks. So had we held it, and had we jumped in with 10 shares, it would have we would have been making what, 30 bucks. But we don't need to risk that much, especially in a high price stock. This is just a example exercise that I recommend you all go through, but don't do it on a high price stock. Do it on a stock that's less than $3 or $4, and don't just pick any stock. Okay, you got to pick a stock that has volume, that is moving, and one that you can practice on, and one that you can go through a trade like that. And I know the video is long, but I wanted to share that with you guys because it was important. We saw it on one of the trades. I think the first one on BJDX. We had to hold a little longer. It was a lower price, and our pattern hit. The second one on BJDX, right before the $70 loss, did not hit. That one passed BWAP, came back down, tried to lift, and then it couldn't, and it fell, and it fell. And then the last one just jackknifed us. So you have to be ready for those conditions. And this one, and even the prior one on TTRX, we had a little bit of success. Now here, obviously, we went in too high. I mean, we're $29.97. We went in at 30 bucks, and remember we had drawn our lines at 25, so we're like $5 over. There's no sense in jumping in. If you've drawn a top line at 25, the stock is at 30, and you jump in. That's the lesson here. Because what's going to happen is it's going to come down and you're going to lose. But it was one share, and it was a practice for us. Luckily, it's only one share, and the time now it's 5:35 a.m. Pacific. And as you can see there, we've taken some trades on BJDX, and we're down $20 on that one, and we're up $2.58 on this one. So that's the reason we continue to hold the one share, and hoping that, hey, maybe it'll go up above 29.97. It'll hit 36, and here it does. And that would have been our exit. That would have been a proper exit right there. We hold it a little longer. We're about to sell. What did we do? We didn't sell. We're thinking it might go higher. We're seeing what people are selling at. We finally click in where everybody's at. Has a little nice jump, and it gave us a nice little win. So now we continue to watch it. It's lost a little bit of steam. It's 5:40 a.m. now, Pacific time. Look at that. We didn't jump in. And right here is way too high to jump in. But the stubborn gorilla refuses to listen to my advice. And notice now we've set a higher resistance level up there at 38. So now we're thinking maybe it has legs. It's 5:40. We're 50 minutes away from open. And volume is looking good, actually. The only one is the Zurich MACD there closing. You see those, that yellow clouds lines? They're closing. And they're saying, you're not going any higher. And then the MACD start turning down. So for a high price stock, this was a very good play. Yeah, so we see we get a little bit confident now. And we set our stop limit and we're moving it. Now volume is slowed way down. And there's our trend reversal, a small search, and that should have been the exit. However, the stock is bullish. I mean, it's still, what did it wind up at? I think it wind up like at $11 or $14, I think. Ooh, $6.85. It closed at $7.45. Yep, hard fall. So on Thursday, it hit 44.20 at 4 a.m. Fell back at 8:30 a.m. It hit 32. That's before market open. So that would have been 5:30. And there it is. And then at 9 a.m., it was his downfall. Big old drop from 31.90. Looks like, sheesh, all the way to 25. So there we decided to get out. Luckily, we get filled quickly. We're not gonna, and we get out right before it falls, and it starts climbing back up again. So we go back in with our one share. Now we have no BWAP to measure the stock moving up and down. So I think at this point we have to use the channel lines. We have to determine the channel line, which is its next level up, and then based on that, uh, uh, draw trend lines to see where things are going to head. But yeah, it didn't do much on the day. That Thursday, it opened at 24.36 and it closed down at 8.77. And obviously, uh, we're not doing Friday, but Friday was just pretty much consolidation and till after market hours on Friday, down below $7. Oops, sorry about that. BJDX followed the same pattern. Went up to 524 pre-market. Jackknife. And at the open, it climbed a little bit and then it fell. Down to 330, jumped back up to 369. So I was wrong, it didn't go up. And looks like it closed at 321. And since has fallen, and on Friday it didn't do much, down to 276. Ooh. So it's 5:50 a.m. And let's see what TTRX was doing at 5:50 a.m. Oh, I got on the 15-minute. Got to go to the 1 minute. A very scattered stock. Try the 3 minute. Wow, I can't believe I was trading this stock. Yeah, the volume's not there. Wow, a lot of empty space. Even on the 5 minute. Wow. Yeah, TTRX was not a stock to be trading. So for Monday, there's no point in doing any type of watch list. What you need to do is watch your money. Keep your money close. Watch out for the bears selling. I don't think we'll see many squeezes. It's been 2-3 weeks and we haven't seen many squeezes come. The bears aren't getting squeezed, so well, they're squeezing us on to the downside. So as a bullish trader, momentum trader, we're always looking for momentum, and if you're positive, then you look forward to the trading hour, and you expect stocks to go up so that you can hang on, trade, and get out with your profit. Um, that hasn't been happening for the past 3 weeks. You should really think of it as the opposite. Think as a bear trader. What's going to happen is you're looking at a stock Be pessimistic. The stock is going to go down. Let it go down. Buy the dip. If it goes up, you're in the money. If it doesn't move, sell and get out. Um, this is, I think, the best way. If you can use stop limits, use them because they'll be a lot helpful in keeping you close. And I think that here's one thing I'm thinking. I don't like stop limits, obviously, because they take you out and then the stock might go back up. But at this point in the behavior of the market, the way it is right now, absolutely stop limits are the way to go because they'll keep you from losing um, more than you should. They'll stop you out, and sure, your cash is going to be tied up and for 24 hours, but at least you didn't lose a whole lot of money. That's a good risk management. I think that's the way to go. And if you have um, use an interface, a software, a broker that allows you to use templates, go ahead and use the templates. We've seen that we're only a few stocks are moving up higher, and they're doing it very early in the morning at 4 a.m. Eastern. I can't trade at 4 a.m. Eastern, so I can't be part of those. But anything with news is going to go up. If you can use a template on something that's going up, I would use a template. 60 cents up, 15 cents down. That way, uh, you don't you don't lose too much. I think that's going to be my approach for Monday. Templates, and then if I get stopped out at 10 cents and the stock goes $2 up, I'm not going to cry about it because I protected my capital. I protected my money. So think about creative ways. Once we get into a more bullish market and momentum starts rising, we get more buyers in and not as many bears, then I think um, that may be for small accounts, maybe go back to not using templates. But right now, templates is the quick way to go to save your money. And if you haven't yet begun trading and with real money and you're still in a simulator and you think you're okay, test the use of templates with 110 shares on the simulator, and to make sure that you're comfortable with using them, to make sure that you understand them, to make sure you know how they work, and also realize that best piece of advice is that when you change stock symbols, especially on the Thinkorswim platform, that your template will get reset once in a while to a dollar up, a dollar down, and you don't want to be a dollar down on any stock. That's bad news. So make sure you got those set up before you hit the real market. If you're a newbie, I would avoid trading Monday. I would avoid trading all next week. Wait till the market settles and the following week. Um, I myself might just bypass the pre-market, and it might even bypass the open and just wait until 8. Um, trade the London close between 9:20 a.m. Pacific and 10 a.m. Pacific, and wait for the 11:30 a.m. Pacific to 1 p.m. close, and that way I can sleep in a little bit. Anyway, if you made it this far, I really truly appreciate you. I thank you. Um, so we're in here with our one chair, and now things are looking good. Things are looking up. The MACDs are moving up, and like I said, this is a recap of Thursday, the 9th, 2025, October. But I'm doing it on a Sunday, so if you get to watch it, thank you for watching it, and I hope you had a better week than I did, and that your monthly um, P&L is looking a lot better than mine. And so with that, I'll leave you guys. I gotta go and do the Friday recap and post that.